I'm live now. G'day everybody, how are we all? Jason and
Julia.
And today we've got some special guests today. We've got Felicity down the bottom there. We've also got Geoff. And we'll start from Felicity first. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Felicity. Well, I'm a medium. It came as a natural surprise to me from my childhood events. I had a NDE, and for many years I tried to hide from the gift because of a lot of family religious stuff, and I was terrified, so that always helps. And I think just after a lot of visitations, I decided that I was going to go ghost hunting because I got sick of them coming and scaring me, and I thought I'd go on their turf for a change to see how they liked it. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met Jason.
Mm-hmm. And also we've got Geoff. And today, guys, what it is you guys get a chance, people who are watching get to ask us questions.
All of us.
Or anybody, you can ask a question to Geoff, me or Julia or Flick. And we'll pass over to Geoff to introduce himself.
So hi, I've grown up essentially all my life with spirits around me. Pretty well used to it. My mum was a psychic. My grandmother was a psychic medium. So I think some of that's rubbed off a little bit on me. Probably the last few years, I've started to get more interested in this sort of field again. I've been on a lot of ghost tours and things over the years, like the quarantine station, probably been there about 12 times, I think, and other, the jails, Parramatta jail, such. But it's just, I've had a YouTube channel called On the Road Australia since 2016. I've been on YouTube since 2010, always watching other people's videos. The last couple of years, I thought, I want to mix it up a little bit with my travelling videos and sort of start to put that out there and just show people, sort of what's real and what's not with some of these visits to some of the sites. So I really love what I'm doing. I feel protected in a lot of ways for my family, with my family. They're always there with me. I've had a lot of mediums I haven't known. As soon as I walked in, they've said, that old woman standing next to you. And I go, where? She said, the one with the grey hair. And I thought, okay, yeah. And they go, her name's Grace. And I think, okay. And they go, Grace Shaw. And I think, how would they know that? And she's always with you. She's always protecting you. Just little things like that to pick up. Yeah, so that's it.
So if anybody's got any questions towards any of us, please don't hesitate to ask the questions. So I think we might start the first question off as we wait. Flick, what really made you get into the ghost hunting world?
Like I said, I got sick of them scaring me to death. So I really decided that I wanted to go on their turf. But I think I just needed answers more than everything, because I think the main thing is there's so much out there, and then you start to think that you're losing your marbles, so you want to kind of get your own clarification, and I think that was more, and to know just that you know what you know. I went to the quarantine station too. That was my first little test that I did myself on my 37th birthday. So that was really great fun. And I ended up with a little piece of brown onion skin appearing off the table up in the hospital section, because I had a vision of that it wasn't a birthing table and women scratching the table, like the guy said. And I had this vision of, people sitting there peeling onions and potatoes at one end, and I just had this feeling that I needed to touch it. So touch the grooves. And then the next thing I knew, there was a little piece of brown folded onion skin And that spirit decided to, I don't know if he came home with me or he just touches base every now and then, because I find when something's not quite right, I will find little pieces of folded up brown onion skin in random places. So it's been very interesting journey.
What about you, Geoff?
Just mainly wanted to get back into. I started to feel I was getting some sort of more connection over the last couple of years, which I'm really more had of when I was younger age. So, and as that's increased, I've started to notice that a lot of activity around me has increased as well. So I'm getting a lot of pickups, even at home, a lot of doors, locked doors opening and closing, footsteps during the night, just about every night, you know, and singing, very soft singing from somewhere in the background. We've had Bobby, my dog, which is right here. He even sometimes just looks up. He just looks up into nothing, just staring, just wagging his tail. Now, if it was something that was bad, I know he would growl and he would let me know that there's something bad there. But just getting back into, I used to enjoy doing the tours years ago, but getting back into doing my own sort of exploration on some of these sites. I really like doing them alone because I find if I've got people with me, a lot of that energy gets taken away. So I'll wander around jail and say, mate, I'm in jail by myself. I've got the whole place to myself. And I'll sit in cells. I get a lot more pickups, a lot more communication, you know, with my name and my family in those locations. So, yeah, so I just really enjoy it. I enjoy showing people my explorations as well.
Yeah. Well, we do have a first question that looks like it's for all of us. I'll just bring it up on the screen for you. There it is.
Angela, I wouldn't say probably as a ghost as such, but an entity of some kind. I have to say, when something's coming up under the blankets and touching your legs and there's nobody else in the room with you is really kind of freaky. That would probably have to be my freakiest moment.
And what about you, Geoff?
Haven't really had a freaky moment because I feel at ease, because I can feel the positive energy around me. Probably some apparitions I've seen in the past, just a bit more of a shock. So like I've come home, I remember I came home years ago one night and opened the door and there was a woman sitting in one of my lounge room chairs. And then I sort of turned my head to look back again and she was gone. Even last week when I did a live with Julie and Jackie, when I finished up, I was packing all my gear up. I walked back into the lounge room with this chair I'm sitting on and I saw the back grey hair, long hair of a woman sitting there. And it sort of stopped me in my tracks. And I sort of looked around for a second and then she was gone. But there's sort of those shock moments. You're just not expecting some things like that. Yeah. Not really scary. I don't really get scared. Yeah.
And your one was what we've been talking about, like me from the quarantine station. Yours is, so ours is still the same. We also got another question. I'll just bring it up. Do you have, where is it?
I think Julia's got the best answer for that one.
Do you believe in protecting yourself? Yes. Yeah. We do protective. Well, everybody has their own way of protecting themselves, but Jason and I do protective prayers before we start our investigation, and then we say prayers afterwards to thank the higher source for protecting us on our investigation. We cleanse our house regularly with a bit of sage, salt, the Bible, but look, everybody has their own ways and their own beliefs, so it's whatever suits you guys.
What about you, Geoff? Then Flick?
So I protect myself by I lay down my ground rules, that I'm protected, that nothing can attach itself to me or from home to my dog as well, to my devices. They will not attachments also following you home. Protect in the name of St. Michael, my guides, my family, and also encircle myself in white light of Jesus Christ.
I have a cleansing technique that I learned with a little mantra from one of my other spiritual courses that I did, and that works well for me. I also sage and I salt, and sometimes I use holy water. I believe too that eucalyptus leaves are actually good. In Australia, being our native, I think that helps a lot, especially with the Indigenous spirits. Because being in, Australia being the native country, I feel that, it's good to use the native things that we have, the tools, and trust in those Indigenous guides as well.
Yep. Hey, Fairy Dragon.
Hello, Fairy.
Also, we've got this question just come up. What's the most moving? Hang on. Wait for it to come
I
up.
just wait for it to come up on the big screen because
Yeah, I can see it.
positive experience encounter. I'll let you guys start. Geoff, would you like to say what's your moving positive encounter?
Just encounters with my family members mainly. Just knowing, especially my mother, my father, and my brother. So I just feel a lot of love there. So that's probably the most moving times I've had, yeah.
I think the most positive thing that I've had is smelling my pop's pipe tobacco. When I've needed him around or something, and then I smell that, and I can say I know that was him, because he was a pretty funny man. Yeah.
My one's with my brother. Much as I can't hug him, but I know he's around me, and he's helped me a lot over the years. So probably my brother with Investigation. Yeah, that'd be for me. What about you?
For me, it's been my mother or my grandmother. I was adopted by her as a baby, so I always called her mum. This might sound weird to people, but since she's died, I've had signs that she comes to me in like a bird, a willy wag actually, and it'll always be like times when I'm troubled, there'll be one that'll just appear, and it might seem a coincidence to some. The most, I think, positive experience for me was I went with my sister once to Adelaide, and we were staying in a motel where there was no trees around, just concrete, and we were staying on a bottom floor, like ground floor level. And anyway, before my mum died, she said, you and your sister will be closer after I'm gone. I'm going to make sure of that. And anyway, we're in the motel together, and this woolly wagtail just came along the windowsill and just went slowly and then looked in the window and was there for a few minutes and then flew off. People could say that was a coincidence thing, but I thought, where did this bird come from and why this bird? And little things like I've been looking for houses to rent in the past, and I'll know it's mine when I've gone to the house and there's a willy wagtail sitting out the letterbox. Things like that. I've had little signs like that. So that's kind of been positive for me.
They're also a messenger bird, Julia. The Aboriginals. Yeah.
Not a coincidence.
No, it's good. It's good.
Something. So, yeah.
Can I just add that positive things? I mean, just thinking another positive thing is having my brother around. Because my brother, he was 9 years older than me, and he always protected me when I was younger. He even, when he was having problems with his marriage, he asked me to come back and stay in my house for a while till he sorted it out. I came home from work one day and he had taken his own life, so I found him. But I know he's always there because he's always protecting me, and I can feel that. Yeah.
God
Yeah,
bless.
that's similar with Jason's brother.
Mm.
And Jason and I have been together 5 years, married 3 now, yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. But sometimes because he felt so in tune with his brother and he was so convinced that his brother was helping him with his psychic readings or his mediumship, I wondered if it was actually Jason and he was using the brother as a crutch. And so I was kind of not convinced his brother was around half the time. Anyway, before we married, I said I'd give my bouquet to Peter as a thank you gift for bringing us together. Because Jason was pretty convinced that Peter found me from somewhere. Anyway, we went to visit the cemetery, and at the wedding we had a 1957 Plymouth Chev. Now, there's only 2 in Australia made. It was actually a sister car to Christine, because we had a Halloween-themed wedding. We went to the cemetery. I gave the bouquet to Peter. I said a couple of things to him, and they came true within the week. But leaving the cemetery, what blew my mind, our wedding car drove past the gates. It was a 1957 Chevy,
Black.
Plymouth black, exactly the same as the wedding. It would have been one of the 2 in Australia, because we knew there was only 2 in Australia because we hired the car and the driver was saying there's only one more out there, but he doesn't know where in Australia it was. And this one was in Melbourne. So it just blew my mind how at that time we were leaving and at that actual moment that car happened to go past us. It was just weird.
It's a
So
sign.
that was probably a positive thing.
Yeah.
That made me convinced that he wasn't around.
So, Julie, I'd have to say my favorite place to investigate was Monte Cristo. It was quite hilarious for me, and I really enjoyed it.
What about
Probably
you?
for me, I've probably got 3 places. Probably Monte Cristo, Quarantine Station. That's always going to be really my favourite, I think.
Yeah.
And also Parramatta Jail. Had a lot of experiences there. But Quarantine Station, over the years, as I said, I've been probably around 12 times I've been there on tours and also by myself. And every time something happens. Even one night I was there, on the tours, used to carry the hurricane lanterns, as part of the tours.
Yeah.
And I was with a group of doctors. So we decided from work, we go with some doctors and some nurses, and some of them didn't believe in those sorts of things. And we're walking down this pathway, and one of the nuns from operating theatres that I know quite well, she was walking beside me. We got left behind a little bit. We're walking in the dark, walking side by side on this path, and all of a sudden, I felt like a hand grabbed but down low, a hand grabbed my hand, and I didn't say anything, and I had this really warm feeling. And when we caught up with the others and to the ranger said, "Did anybody detect anything along that path?" And I thought, "Yeah, I did." And then the other friend said, she said, "Yeah, I felt something." And we both said what it is, and we hadn't told each other. And like a hand, something was holding our hands, my left hand and her right hand. And the guide said, "That's a little girl, and she's searching for her parents, and she picked you. She thought you were her parents." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jason?
My favourite is probably going into people's homes, because I get a satisfaction on helping people investigating. So, yes, you can go all these different tours and different places, but you always know that you're going to just do a tour. But when I go to people's houses and I investigate and help move the unwanted spirits out of there and get the family ring me up and go, "Thank you, we can all sleep again." That's probably my favourite, just being in people's homes and they get back to you and say thank you to you, and that's my satisfaction of being what I do.
Jason, do you ever feel negative energy in people's homes?
Yeah, all the time. And I think I get excited. Felicity will probably tell you this, and Julia will probably tell you that. If there's a negative energy around me, I go, "Oh, beauty, we're going to play," you know. And I don't run from it. I actually smile and laugh at it and try.
He runs into it, and Julia and I run the other way.
And then they start throwing things at you.
Oh, he's had been scratched.
Yep.
I think the funniest thing, he was even scratched by a ghost cat when we went to the pet cemetery to cremate one of our pets.
Which pet cemetery is that?
That's down near Shane's Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went in there, and there's actually people buried there with their pets. So
Wow.
the
Really?
ladies down there. But yeah, we went in there, and I said, "Do you feel anything?" Because the guy that owns the cemetery, they're pet lovers, and they wanted a place for their own pets, so that's why they started it. He said people get creeped out around the chapel. Well, anyway, we walked past this cat's grave, and Jason actually got scratched, like a proper scratch that drew blood. It made me laugh, actually.
And I'm going to go back with revenge.
I thought he had so many negative entities come up against him, but this cat won that day.
Color orbs mean things.
Yes, they do. I don't know all the meanings. I know the darker is the more negative type. The lighter, like a pale blue, is actually a protective colour. Green's healing. But I can put a link under the tube for the colours.
I feel red.
We can Google orb colours.
I feel red still people that are alive but left residual energy, and that's only from when Jason and I went to Anita Cobby's thing, and when we took that picture, because there was one white orb and then there was red orbs around, like 5 around the white orb, and I took that as being like residual energy because of like anger red. I don't know, that's how I took it.
No, I took red as anger.
So you went to Anita Cobby's, what? Where was that?
Where she was murdered.
Ah, okay, because I used to work with her.
Yeah, I think I might have known her when she lived at Coffs Harbour, but I would have been young.
Yeah, so I worked with her at Sydney Hospital, and I know her sister. I haven't spoken to her for a while as well. But we've got a beautiful chapel at Sydney Hospital, and it's got the plaque there for her. It's just beautiful. Every time I go there, I go over and say hi, Anita.
Yeah, it's sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
You know, I was only probably about 12 I was probably about 14, 15 when that happened. But to this day, I can't drive past that area without thinking of her to this day.
Yeah.
You know, she was probably up there with the most horrendous murder that's ever occurred in Australia.
Yep.
Yeah. And for the cows to circle around her, like, that was just amazing. You know, like, they even felt it, the animals.
So that's in a paddock in Blacktown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it still a paddock? Or is it houses?
It's cut sort of from the freeway now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The freeway goes right through it. It's on the left side of the freeway. If you didn't know where it was, you wouldn't find it.
I always get confused because when you come up the Great Western Highway and you come past Bunnings and you go a bit further, I feel like it's there.
Yeah.
But it's not, because Jason took me there once, but we went round the long way and back again, and I don't even know. It's like we went to Japan and back to get there. So, and it was nighttime and I was terrified. So even though I was driving my own car.
I was at Blacktown Hospital today. I probably passed it on the Prospect Highway there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah.
It's over near the Prospect water. You know, they've got the Prospect water.
Yeah, the water board.
It's on their land, but
the reservoir there. The reservoir.
If you go to where there's a street on the end of the fence line,
Yep.
And they had a house there, yeah.
And there was a house just there, and it's just 2 minutes into the bushes where they found her.
So I pop in sometimes for lunch when I'm driving past the reservoir. I just stop in there and eat my lunch sometimes. It's a beautiful place and walk around.
Oh, I love the reservoir.
Yeah, it's great.
Great place.
Yep.
That one
I
there.
haven't been to that hospital.
No,
No.
me neither.
No, someone asked last week about that hospital, but it's definitely on my list now to do once lockdown's over. So
I've been there. I've been there. I work there.
have you?
Did you?
And what was that like?
Spooky.
Okay, well, it looks like you're taking us on a tour.
Yeah. The problem is there's a lot of asbestos there, which still hasn't been removed, and it's cordoned off. I mean, you can go to the cemetery, and there's a lot of unmarked graves there as well. And
We've all got masks now.
Yeah.
Got to wear your M95 mask and your shield.
That's all right. We'll get one.
Yeah. No, it's a great place. It's on the old Princess Highway there, just past Waterfall.
Wow.
Oh, is that the one up where we were going to go, Jason?
Pardon?
Is that the one where we were going to go?
No, that's up the Wicklow Falls, the one
Oh, okay.
Old TB hospital.
Oh, that's the one on the north.
That's
you go past
Victoria.
White Rock. Yeah, so you go down to Lion's Head down there. You turn off just before Waterfall, the top of the hill there at the garden centre. And the King's Tableland. It's called the whole area. That's where you drive out. I know I drove all the way down there one day and I couldn't get in because of all the security cameras.
Yeah, you can't now because there's drones. Drones come. The Chinese bought it about 3 years back, and now there's drones when you get in within a meter of the fence. But I was walking around a meter from the fence and having a look, and because the guy up there, he's really lovely.
Yes.
And we were walking around, and I just went, I just need something to say that I was here. And the next minute, I kicked up under the dirt a little like one of the old glass vials, for the injections.
Yeah.
So that went in my basket and I took that home.
So they've got drones there?
Yeah, as soon as you get within a meter, drones pop up.
Yeah, I'll put my drones up and I'll attack them.
Yeah, and they're just going to let it go to rack and ruin too, so that then they can pull it down and build whatever they want on there, which is really sad because it's part of our history.
It's a big resort because it's a big land.
Yeah.
It's got a big view.
It's just really sad though.
Just a reminder to everybody who's watching, if you've got any questions for any of us, this is, doesn't matter what question it is, ask any of us.
Open night tonight. So we're all Sydney-siders. We're all on lockdown. We're all bored. And we'd like to answer your questions.
G'day, Len. G'day, everybody, for joining. Thank you for everybody for joining.
Thank you for coming on. And Geoff's got his own YouTube channel. So after the show, Geoff, we'll put your link up and also on Jason Ghost Hunter Facebook page. So I recommend you go and have a look at some of his videos. Great content.
Yep.
And
And also too,
like, share, and
Flick.
subscribe.
Yep. And also, Flick does do readings when the lockdown's not up. If somebody wanted to come and see you, Flick, what's the best way for them to contact you?
I've got a page on Facebook. I haven't tended to it too much, but it's called the Oracle of Florence, which is kind of funny because Florence is my grandmother, who is extremely religious. So you can go on there and you can just PM me. I can do a reading even without you having to be present. So that's okay if you want to send a message and work it out that way. All the prices and that are on there. So,
We'll put the link up on Jason Ghost Hunter and also under the video.
Yeah, I haven't made a YouTube yet, Julia, because I was still scared. So I'm doing well. I'm not shaking today.
That's okay.
There's a question just come up for all of us.
It's Darkwater. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Has anybody experience? Walking
Yes.
up?
Waking up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the old hag experience. It's quite common. I used to get that a lot when I was younger, but since I've learned how to protect myself, I haven't had that experience.
The
So-
same
Yeah,
here. I used to get it when I was younger as well, and I used to think it was aliens.
I had one that got in my face too that used to do that, but it used to have red eyes like that and get right in my face. And my bedroom was actually under the lamp from outside, so my room was quite light, but you couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. It was very terrifying. So
I've had it. Yeah, sorry.
no, go,
I've
Geoff.
Sorry, it's like a sleep paralysis. I've had it where you're sort of fully aware you can't move. It's like you're paralyzed. You're trying to speak and you can't speak, and you're trying to yell out, but nothing happens. It's really a weird experience.
Yeah.
Horrible. Geoff, I was just thinking how funny it is that you thought it was aliens, because I remember the last time I had an experience like that, I thought it was aliens too.
Mm.
I actually could remember hearing people running in my room, like they're only about 4 foot, and but I couldn't move. I couldn't like put my head up to see who they were. Nothing. It was just terrifying.
Yeah,
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. You sure now?
So I couldn't help myself. So
Okay. What equipment do you use for your ghost hunting?
whatever Jason tells me to.
Oh.
Double Jeff. And you.
Oh, sorry, Geoff.
Me? Okay. So as my favourite is my K2 meter.
Yep.
I find, being an electrical engineer, I know this is pretty well precise. It's not multi-directional, single directional, but if you do, once you remove the maybes, what it could be, like your phone, you make sure your phone's in airplane mode, and any other EMF sources like electrical switchboards. I used to use these for work, so that's when I first started to know how they worked, and with different cycling and different levels of EMF. They're also good for detecting leaks in microwaves. There's another attachment you can put on the top, and you can actually see if your seals, which you should really do, because if your seals do start leaking, you could have a problem. So that's my favourite. And then the spirit box. Got a couple of different types, spirit boxes. I'm into the dowsing rods now, so I couldn't believe how well they worked. I've used them on properties before with branches, and they worked, and I thought, oh yeah. But what I did, I made myself a set out of coat hangers, just metal coat hangers. I mean, copper ones are better; they will receive more energy. But even I remember the first time I made them here, and I filled up the kitchen sink. I walked towards it, and they just went straight away.
Wow.
And then walking around the backyard, and I know where the main piping is and the wastewater and everything. Walking around, as soon as I cross that line, straight over. But you can also use them to detect minerals, gold, and other sort of elements like that as well. But with the ghost hunting side, they seem to respond. I don't know if it's your subconscious doing it, if it's moving your hand sometimes, but I don't think I am. But I can feel sometimes something pushing against them. So I think that they do work. Now I'm into all these new apps like Ghost Tube, Necrophonic, the Miracle Box, and I know Julie, you use some other ones too at the moment as well, which
Yeah,
I've just
Spirit Talker.
I've just downloaded some of those. I'm yet to try some of those
Yeah.
out. See what they're
The
like.
guy that made Spirit Talker, he's a UK team. That he's not ghostly findings. That's Jackie. Some findings paranormal or something. UK. So he created that one, and some of his tubes with it has been bang on with his experience. And
Yeah, I find. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. We've had a few freaky experiences with it, but then we've had a few hit and miss ones too. So I'm still learning about that one. Yeah, that's about it now. Necrophonic and Ghost Tube.
Yep.
They're the three I use.
Yeah, I find with the Ghost Tube, because like if you purchase the the unregistered version, I think it's got something like 300 words in the dictionary. If you do pay for the app, it's 800 and it's growing all the time. I think it's about to go up to 1,000. But you can actually go in there and see the words are in that dictionary. So to me, sometimes it repeats the same word over and over again. But then you get times where it reacts to what you're asking exactly.
Yes.
And then also a lot of words that come out, they're not in that dictionary. Like my name, for instance, it said my name and my full name, which sort of, wow, I thought, especially I've found that the jails and warnings to get out of cells, and they've called me by my name several times, to get out. And it says, sit down. Sit down on the cell bed, for instance, and then everything starts going crazy, like the K2, the whole lot go off. And then it says, get out of here now. That's right. Even that cottage at the quarantine station, the Grave Diggers Cottage, that place is really bad.
It is bad. Yeah. Very bad.
Around that kitchen area in the back there, I've had
the bathroom.
The bathroom is actually throwing people out of the bathroom before. It's been thrown across the room.
My daughter didn't.
And the second bedroom, I couldn't go in the second bedroom, the one before the bathroom.
Yeah.
Ricky wants to know, Jason, what's the spirit box?
Yeah, I'll just wait for people to finish talking before I bring that question up.
And Belena needs to get a new microwave.
Who? Belena needs to get a new microwave.
Yeah.
Annie.
Hi, Mum.
Hello.
You can tell them about the spirit box.
Well, actually, Geoff, you use the spirit box, so you probably
know
more than me. You only use Nick's funny.
That's sort of my newest one there. And that's this one here that I've been using for quite a while with an external speaker as well. But
bring it a bit closer, Geoff.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, my multis aren't too good.
Yeah, and also that one as well. But I find the problem with the spirit box is that the white noise. It gets a bit annoying sometimes. And that's where I tend to like to use some of the apps more so, because you haven't got that noise and you have to try with the noise, try and decipher what they're saying. With this particular one, it does run in reverse. So you've got that choice, forward and reverse. And I think some of the reverse that you get, the same as the necrophonic, that also goes in reverse. There's less likelihood that there'd be words that would come out which are fake. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think it's more for real.
Yeah.
We've been looking at buying an S box. We
Yeah.
do have a normal spirit box, but it's not that great.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm too scared to do my own home.
Do you
And then I've got me cat balls.
Yes, and Geoff's house very active, but we've done it here and we've gotten some really good responses. Actually, once that ghost tube, I said, "What's the name of my husband?" And I was kind of half tongue in cheek, and it said Jason, and we both just looked at each other, and then it said Jason over here, and so we knew someone was in the house that night, but. We have his brother here a lot, and he does like to play pranks.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I know that there's spirits in my house, and Jason's brother likes to come visiting sometimes to check on people to make sure you're okay, doesn't he, Julia? And freak you out just for the fun of it.
Freak us out, yeah.
Yes. So, but yeah.
If anybody's just joined, if you've got any questions for any of us, ask any question, and I'm looking at the chat room as it's coming up. So
it's just Q&A night. It's a night for you guys to get to meet us.
You'll talk to us, ask us anything.
I am, but to get to meet Geoff and Felicity, and just get to.
Just answering Angela's question, I do private readings.
Ricky goes, yeah, and he freaks me out. Ricky's one of our good mates, and Yeah, my brother likes to play randoms with him too.
You're showing off now.
Darkwater's
yes,
asking
ghost dog.
about a crisis. Darkwater's got crisis. What is it? But I don't know what they mean by that.
I can't even see that one.
It's up near the top.
Okay. Right up top.
Just above Dick with his horseradishes made from horses. Up from there. Don't worry, Dick. My son thought that artichoke hearts were a part of an animal, so you don't worry about that. Okay, and he wanted to be a vet.
Okay.
Can you see dark water up there?
I've got to put these messages because my AIs are going to go scroll back up.
If there's a question that we missed, do you want to just repeat it?
Yeah.
And we'll put it straight up for you. So sorry, sometimes they come in really fast. And there's like a delay.
Jason, I'll ask the question.
Yep, go for it.
When's the first time you realised that you had some sort of connection with the afterlife?
When I lost my brother to a car accident, I was at home and I'm sitting with my ex-wife at the time. I come home and I saw my brother sitting at the sitting on the lounge. And I walked in and I knew I just buried him. And I'm looking at him and I'm going, okay, I'm ignored. I thought I was grieving. And for a little while, he kept saying hello, hello, hello to me. And then after a while, I said hello back. And we spoke for 2 weeks, like every day. And I thought I was going loony. I was ready to go to the hospital. And then his last words to me is, hey, we got work to do. And me being me, I was like, well, okay. I didn't understand a word he meant. Before you know it, over 20-something years later, I understand what he means by, working.
20 years, wow.
Yeah, a very long time. Just making sure I haven't missed any questions.
Oh, fairy.
What about you, Geoff? Same kind of question towards you. Like, where did you know?
Oh, look, I used to talk to my spirit guides when I was only a toddler. I was about 3. They used to tell me to be good and eat my veggies, and I could see auras. And I would have people come in my room just about every single night. Sometimes it would confuse me, but it wasn't until I went to school that I realised that not everyone saw what I saw. And then so I started getting scared. And as I became a teenager, then I had more sinister visitors. I had my bed end upped and things like that happened to me too. So it used to frighten the hell out of me. And the older I got, the more curious I got. So then I joined spiritual churches and learned how to protect myself and open my abilities. And yeah, now I spend my life being fascinated, researching, and trying to have more experiences and help others with theirs too.
Julia, do you know how many spirit guides you have?
Me, I have about 3. But I have a main one that helps me when I do my readings. Her name's Elizabeth. She's a friend from a previous life.
So you believe in reincarnation?
Yes.
Yes. So do I, very strongly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe my last life I was a German pilot in the Second World War.
Okay, well, that's probably why we got. I'm actually, my grandpa's German, so I've got a German link in this life.
Yeah.
But in a last life, just the last one I had before this one, I believe I was a sailor that went down on a warship. But the guide that I talk about, she's a nun, but she's like one of those nursey nuns, and I get the feeling it's around the 1700s.
Right. So do you believe each time you come back, you try and better yourself until you get to the top? And then
Different journey, different lesson.
Different lesson each time.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I understand of the people from the other side, each life that we have is like a school life, like a school term. And if we don't learn what we were meant to learn in this life, whether it be compassion or patience or whatever we're meant to learn, I think in this life it's self-love.
Yeah.
And we repeat a similar life until we learn that lesson, and then we're ready to move on to a next one.
So do you
Yeah.
believe that each time you come back that you associate yourself with the same people from previous lives? Like one life you might have a brother or a sister, the next life they could be your parent or a cousin or just a best friend.
Yep. Souls
Yeah.
tend to cluster, but we can have new souls introduced, but souls tend to reincarnate around each other.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Or very old ones
Yeah.
that come back. But we all have a seed, what's called a seed, and that's the journey. So you bring this seed with you that you've got to work on, and then each lifetime that's when you pick a different thing to learn about.
Is that like the guff?
I don't know if that's what you call it, but where I learned through the Inner Peace movement and the Americana Leadership College, Dr. Francisco Cole calls it a seed. So he was into like the voodoo healings. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Into the voodoo kind of healings and stuff like that. But what he teaches is not necessarily voodoo. So I haven't learnt that, but it was a very good course to start off my journey, like with grounding and all that kind of thing.
I think the guff does relate to what you call the seed. So each time you come back, you give it a new guff.
Yeah, it's like a different part of it. So like if you don't learn it properly this lifetime, then you'll come back next lifetime and it might be a little harder and a different, you'll obviously be a different person, but you're still your same soul. But until you learn whatever the lesson is.
Well, I'm still a soul. I'm a Geoff soul, so.
Ricky wanted to know how to contact your spirit guides. My suggestion is meditation. Meditation's always a good way. And when you meditate, look at first, you may just see a colour. You may just see something. But after a while, your spirit guides will introduce themselves to you. And also they can come to you in a dream if you ask them.
Yeah.
So usually they'll come forward when you're in the most relaxed state. So you can see
even walking.
Down 2.0.
Hello,
G'day, buddy.
Josh. How are you? Thank you for coming on. So Josh is one of our good mates in America, and he also has a YouTube channel. So we hope to have you on one night, Josh, when you've got time. I know the time difference is a little bit difficult and tricky, but we'll make it.
Sometimes. I don't need to, but sometimes. Sorry, Julia.
No, that's okay. You don't have to say sorry.
My ADHD just kicked in. I was in my own world there for a second.
I don't have the best eyesight, and Jason doesn't have a very big computer, so I wait for it to come up on the big screen.
Ken Day said hello.
Hello, Ken. How are you, my friend?
So if anybody's got any questions, this is your chance to ask us anything. This is, you guys ask us questions, and you got Geoff there, and he's, Geoff again. Tell people your YouTube page, so if anybody's just joined, so they can come and go to your YouTube page and subscribe to it.
So my YouTube page, one of my main ones is called On the Road Australia, because primarily I started that channel to my trips and travelling throughout Australia, through country towns, a lot of the history and everything. I've sort of incorporated now a lot of the paranormal things, and I've been thinking about making a separate channel for that alone. I also have another channel called Soul Man Productions, Sydney. So that's another one of my channels too, and that's sort of to do a lot of things around the Sydney area mainly.
I'm just going to run and grab a glass of water. Just give me 2 seconds and I'll be back.
Yeah, go for it. Geoff, we were actually fans of your channel before we met you.
That's amazing, isn't it? Like,
We were watching your channel and you commented on one of our YouTubes and we're like, oh, wow, because we're only newbies. And then we looked up your channel and we went, oh, my God, it's the person that owns that channel. So...
yeah, look, the funny thing is, I said before, is I've only sort of started doing the paranormal sort of videos over the last couple of years. Probably even less, 18 months. So you probably wouldn't have seen that without me going into that sort of field.
No, well, what drew me, I think what I first watched it for, because you were doing a investigation in Rookwood, my favourite all-time cemetery, as my friend Ken would know. And, yeah, I just love that cemetery. I don't know what it is. Even if I'm in the area, I kind of feel it calling me. I need to go there.
Actually, I'll add that. I'll go back and I'll add that to my favourite, one of my favourite places, because I love that place. I've been there so many times, and I still haven't covered that whole area. It's a town. It's got its own. It's actually got its own postcode.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I just feel so at peace there. I could just walk around there by myself all day. I just love it. And you just
find new things more and more all the time. Like you look up the characters that are buried there, and there's just so much history. You could be there for days. You know.
Oh, my father's there.
Okay.
Yeah, he did the same as your brother.
Is that in the Catholic section or?
No, Methodist Uniting. Right.
Yeah.
He got cremated, I think.
Yeah.
I'll put it up for you. 33 years at Rookwood doing night, and I've never seen anything paranormal.
I know.
Hey, if you're ever going to give that job up, let me know. SMS.
They're probably sneaking around behind him.
Over there.
But you know what, Ken? I think because you're so comfortable there and they know you're there to look after them all, they're happy with you. I mean, you'd be surprised how many EVPs I've got where I've been told to bugger off. And the vaults, the old Catholic vaults down near the Archangel Michael Church, I always feel dread there for some reason. I always feel like watched and unwelcome. Freaky place.
I'll tell you who don't like you going there is the Tui family. From Tui Brewery.
Oh, do you know what? I got scratched there.
Really? Because every time I go there, and I a lot of times park my car there near the chapel, and every time I go up and I say hello to all the members of the Tui family, those vaults, they just tell me to bugger off and everything. Get out there, you know.
Well, I had one tell me hate. And I said, well, what do you hate? Do you hate being here? Do you hate... you got to give me more information than that. And I got a massive scratch on my arm.
Oh, just like tell a little story about Rookwood.
Yep.
So I remember one of the first times I went there to do a ghost hunt. And this is not far from the chapel. So something drew me to the chapel to park there, and I parked there. I just walked up across towards the entrance, from there, you know what I mean? Back to the main entrance, walked across that area there, and I walked straight into this grave, and the surname was Soul, Margaret Soul. And I thought, wow, that's a coincidence. Then I found out when I looked that up, she's related to me, and there's only two souls. There's only two souls in that cemetery. Wow. Only two, and the other one's on the other side of the cemetery. And that just blew my mind.
You were lucky. I spent 3 hours trying to find my father.
Really? Yeah. You can do it online. You can do it online.
Yeah, but even those instructions aren't that great. What about the other?
Oh, this was going back a while ago. But yeah. Jason, you got a question?
Yeah, for 18 months, what have I done in 18 months? I've done people's homes, done graveyards, mysteries, hospitals.
businesses. You'd be surprised how many businesses. We've even done Lotto Land at Manly Football Ground. They blame their bad scores on ghosts. So we want to pay this in
I have to go there now. That's funny. Sorry.
But, we actually had to explore Lotto Land. But, yeah, we've done a lot of the places that we do are, confidential because we respect people, don't want to lose business by hauntings.
Yep, and Jeff, our mate's got a question for all of us.
What's all your favourite places and scariest places? Okay. Mine, Josh, is my favourite is Rookwood Cemetery. That's my all-time favourite cemetery. And the scariest place would have to be Ebenezer Cemetery. And Flick knows about that one. That's the one I hid behind her.
Yeah, I'm 5'2". Okay, just so you know, Steve. All right.
6 foot, so
Yeah.
I actually hid behind her because I was so scared.
Yeah, we cacked ourselves laughing, but that was pretty scary that night. So yeah,
dancing around the cemetery.
Yeah, Jason's like, where did you just go? We're in the car park.
You're not coming back.
I think that's scary and funny.
I've never at Ebenezer. I've never felt any bad energy there all the time.
You need to go there at night.
Yeah, I haven't been there at night. I must admit that. Yeah, it's always during the day.
During the day, it's beautiful. It's serene. It's this little country church and the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Come at night, and it's just got this real air of foreboding.
I'll just take some advice. I'll take some advice from you. I won't follow anything down to the river because it's all off the edge here. I'm not doing that one.
It's on the river, and when you go down there, there's something will always try and lure you to separate from your group of friends, and it'll try and lure you down to the river where it's like a short, because it's pitch black.
The Lady of the Lake.
Well, I'll just make sure I wear a life jacket if I go there.
Yeah.
Where's Geoff?
But it's
Robin.
It's just off, wasn't it? It was just off right from the car park. That was really kind of scary. Like it was like once you got you jumped over the fence at the car park, it couldn't come any further for some reason.
Kind of like a boundary. But
yeah.
If you have a look at our latest tube with our photos that we did, one of the first pictures, what we call hedge man, is like a ghost standing behind the hedge, and it's not a great one because it was done with our mobile phone. It's kind of like an accidental find, but that was taken at that cemetery.
And also the one before that, there's a photo of a window and a guy looking outside the window was also taken.
But the face matches in the school, there's a picture of like black and white pictures because during the day it's a museum, and there's like pictures of the caretakers, and his photo, the face matches the caretaker's face.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Julia, have you ever heard the school bell go off at Ebenezer when you've been there?
No, I haven't. Oh, thank you, Josh. I think you're fantastic too.
And we're definitely going to get you on, Josh, one night. If you're up for it, we'll try and pitch it around for you, mate. And we're definitely
even if we have to sit up 3 a.m.
we definitely want Josh on too. And you'll love his context. He's got some great videos, and me and Julie watch them, and we sit there and glue to them. So yeah.
Look, I just want to say this channel is about promoting everyone else. It's not about us. We appreciate everybody viewing.
Yeah.
But we really want our mates to shine. Like Geoff has got a great channel.
Yep.
Felicity, you're an accurate medium. I've known you for a while now.
I'm coming out of the closet.
But it's about everybody meeting everyone else, and that's what we love about it. It's a big paranormal family.
So what's Josh's channel called?
His is
Seven Down.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
7 down to.
Look him up. He's got some great contents in there, and you know,
He's lovely.
Yep. And there's a few other people there too that have got really great contents.
I'll get you over.
Josh, you think that was funny, the Ebenezer thing? When I first went ghost hunting with Jason, I wasn't going in no stinking tunnel that was dark, and he picked me up and carried me in and just went, well, now what are you going to do?
Which tunnel was that?
That was Fisher's ghost.
Ah, okay.
One in Campbelltown. There's like a big tunnel. I personally don't see it as Fisher's ghost. I see it as a homeless lady that has a bit of a bee in a bonnet, because Fisher wasn't married. Yeah,
there was a little girl when we were there, and a shepherd. Dolly was the name, wasn't she? Dolly, yeah.
Kiraleigh's got a question. If you see loved ones that have passed away in your dreams, is that them trying to communicate with you? Yes, it is. Kiraleigh, I can guarantee that, because our grief holds us back a lot, and when we're in our most relaxed state, often when we sleep, that's a good time for them to be able to come through and visit you.
It's in that delta wave level, isn't it?
Pardon?
When you go to sleep, there's different levels, waves you go through.
Yeah.
Different levels. I think that period in between is called a delta.
Yeah.
Between the REM and that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've spoken to like at work to a psychiatrist about that before, and it explained that was a while back, and I can't remember which way it went, which order.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, dreams. That's how I get. A lot of the spirits talk to me mostly is, I think it's called waking dreams, if I'm correct. Like you'll be dreaming, then you wake up, and then it plays on like a little movie. Usually, that's what happens to me. They're usually standing near my bed or something like that. Hence the reason I started to go ghost hunting, because I thought I'd get them on their own territory.
Got a question for all of you guys from our mate. I'll just bring it up for you. So you, Geoff, can tell our mate your channel?
Yeah, my channel is called, my main channel, On the Road Australia. And also I have another channel called Soul Man Productions Sydney as well.
Yep.
And Josh, I've been too scared to have a channel.
That's why you have to pick her up and carry her in tunnels. And she goes kicking and screaming, but you just pick her up. But I'm a big boy anyway. I just pick her up. You're in the stay.
Jason, I've got a question for you. Jason, so when did you start videoing and also with photography? When did you start being interested in that sort of side of things? It was probably before going to ghost hunting.
Photography I've done over 20 years, taking photos. And using the voice recorder. So I've been doing that for over 20 years, that part. Videoing come in probably 5 years later after I started. And then I've been doing it ever since. And but I've always taken, since day one of my ghost hunt, well, over 20 years now. And I still got my original camera that I still use today, still got it.
But the YouTube channel's only started this year.
Yeah. So have you used like DSLRs and cameras, for instance? Do you use camcorders?
Camcorders, and I've got this old digital camera too.
Yeah.
But I've upgraded since my wife got me another camera. I've started using them a lot more professional camera, but I still got my original camera that I started with over 20 years ago, an old digital camera.
Jason had a lot of equipment, and you lost that early on in the piece due to a house fire, but so he's had to build up again.
Right.
So he was lucky to have what he did have in his car still. That was quite a sad event to come back.
I find using gimbals really good to stabilize your camera, especially when you're walking or either driving, whatever. But I find the GoPros are really good as well. and all the attachments you have with the GoPro. So, like, I've got the head attachment, I've got the body, the vest attachment, and that gives you your hands free to be able to use all your other devices, especially when you're by yourself walking around.
Yeah, well, just Julia's been helping me get a lot of my equipment back, and she's been helping me get some deals because I said, as Flick said, I lost a lot of stuff in the house fire, and so I am basically what I had on me at the time is all I had. And so I'm starting from scratch, and since she's got me great cameras and
comes in handy for Christmas and birthdays when you don't know what to get him.
Exactly. No, you guys have done awesome.
When you haven't got anything on, you just use your iPhone.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, it's a backup.
You know, when we started, you would see in our first videos, they're crap. I mean, the quality of because it was a mobile phone, but it was just...
Jason didn't... Oh, sorry, Julia, go.
No, that's okay.
No, sorry. No, you go.
I get you out on Road Australia, right, guys? I have to do an investigation with all you guys. And have you all seen Jason Tied to Death Challenge? Yes, we did. That was down at Ricky would know that place. It was down at Mafia Road, down at the backy. It was quite freaky. We could see a few shadow people, but we didn't get any cat balls light up or anything. But it was interesting. A couple of voices came through and said that they heard my death whistle.
So if anybody's got any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. You know, we'll answer any questions. Doesn't matter. We're here if if anybody to ask.
Jason, have you ever seen any apparitions in your house before?
I've seen one or two sometimes. If you do see one, it's either my brother or one of my guides. Because my brother's a bit of a gangster. He likes to muck around and play tricks on everybody. But sometimes, yes, we do sometimes. But when I'm out investigating, I do see them too. I sometimes go, say to Julia, is that somebody's running over there? And she'll go, there's nobody there. And I can see the person running through sometimes through cemeteries. And so sometimes I've got to double take myself to what I see.
I've been doing that too with you.
Yeah.
We'll be driving and I'll go, did you see that? And he'll go, yeah, I did see that. But I had to look twice, because the first time I looked so clear, there was someone there, and then I looked twice and there was no one there. And then your mind's like, did I see something or not? Because you always try and find the logic in everything.
Yeah.
So, your brain does anyway.
Julia, do you see more things than Jason, or do you hear more things, or vice versa?
I'm clairaudient now because I was so frightened when I was little. I blocked a lot of my sight, so I can see shadows.
Yeah.
And I can feel them, but they talk to me a lot. I've constantly got them yapping in my ear. And I get different voices. And no, I'm not...
Do you hear them? Do you hear them as in their voices, or it's your voice saying what they?
No, I hear them in their voices. It's a bit like listening to a distant radio station, and the stronger a person's energy is, the louder the voice and the clearer it is. And then the weaker the signal, I should say, it's more like a distant one. Yeah.
Right.
And that's how I do my readings too. I listen to the voices.
Do you ever hear singing?
No. They more show me like little movies in my head, like little YouTubes. They, they might show me, like someone says, I want to contact my father, say, and instantly I'll get like a photograph in my head, and I'll get like the way the person wants to show themselves. Sometimes they show themselves younger than what they actually were when they died, because they want to show me in their, say, army uniform, or they thought that was when they were looking their best, or something like that. They, and I'll describe what I see. And then they'll tell me more about themselves to give the other person proof that I'm actually seeing someone and I'm not just making it up.
And do you think you've got some healing powers?
Me?
Yeah.
I think everybody has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody can heal. It's just
Yeah.
our energy that we use from God,
Yeah.
That's
Okay. How does it feel when the whistle thing go off? I think it's great. I actually felt the energy in the air change.
and it's good to see you got your grandkids involved.
Yeah, Gagey, he's right into this stuff, and he was pretty pleased as punch to be involved.
Yeah.
And but we wanted to do not somewhere too scary for him, because we didn't want to overwhelm him. He's only 16. He was pretty brave. He agreed to be tied up.
Yeah. And then he got up and went. Hey Geoff, would you do that what we did the 3 o'clock
Yeah, we've
do
got
the
2
tie down
challenges.
challenges?
With the one you did at the railway station.
Yeah, well you basically tie it up, blindfold, camera on you, and you got to tell what you're experiencing.
Well, I've been tied up before, but that was a word. No. They used to do when I was an apprentice. They used to do inductions and things. They used to tie you up and they used to pull you up on the crane and hang you upside down. It was back in the old days, It's a great time I've been tied up. I try. Yeah, I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to bring out your senses more. So the whole point of the thing, because you're an empath and psychic, because you're got blindfolded on and your hands are down, you can't touch anything, it's supposed to heighten your experience. So if there's anything around, you feel them or you sense them more.
Yeah, that's right. Just going back to what I said earlier about being alone, I prefer to be alone doing around sites like the jails and things. Because I find when there's people around, they sort of pull that energy, and the energy won't come through so much. But a lot of times I've taken my cousins, and a lot of them don't believe in this, so they just want to go somewhere with me just to look around. And they end up taking off. And as soon as they take off, I think, great, they're gone. Now I start receiving while they're there, I don't receive so much. But as soon as they're gone, it all comes in.
Yeah, no, I find that with in tours too, because there's too many people on a tour.
I would pass out if you blindfolded me and tied me and left me there.
That's the challenge I'm going to give you too, Felicity.
I know what you were thinking. I could tell.
I'm going to take you to a place, blindfold you, tie you up, put the camera on you, get in the car.
Kira Lee, are you listening? Kira Lee, are you listening? Are you out there?
Do that. We're going to do one soon in the local cemetery, and I'm going to be tied up. But
I'll do it if I'm tied up next to Julia.
Yeah.
If we can hold hands, I'll sit there.
So what we're going to do is do the double tie down challenge. So you're all tied up together, blindfold together. And then I am going to get in the car.
No, you're not.
And I'm going to back it down to the gate. And I'm going to sit down to the gate.
No.
For 20 minutes.
No.
Julia, have you been to Castlebrook Cemetery?
Yes.
So have you been to Vinegar Hill?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually not at that hill. It's actually closer to the house. Because the guy the manager of the Rouse House, he also manages Elizabeth Farm and that in Parramatta. And he told us that it was just behind one of those where the regional park is, more that way than the actual cemetery.
You probably saw my video the other day of going there.
Yeah, I did. I loved it. It was great because it really I loved how you did the reenactment and showed the story. I really love that.
Yeah.
There's
I like post editing too. Sorry, Flip.
No, you're right. I did it to you, so that's fair.
There's a delay on this computer, so I don't mean to sound rude.
I think that's what happens at my end too. I think you've stopped, but it hasn't. I was just having a thought. I remember watching a crime show once, and I don't know if you remember this, Geoff, but down on the freeway somewhere, wasn't there a lady that was dumped in the swamp? She was picked up from Penrith train station or something quite a few years back.
Well, on the M4 or on Great Western Highway?
No, I'm pretty sure it was the M4.
No, I haven't heard that.
I don't know if there was. Is there a swamp on the Great Western Highway? Because I didn't grow up here, but I just remember watching that.
No, not that I can think of.
I can't think of that one.
It was a while back. It was like after Anita, way after Anita.
Is it more towards Penrith? More towards Penrith?
Yeah.
Way, or is it?
Yeah.
Don't know. Castle Road. Sorry, Castle Road somewhere, is it?
No. This is definitely going towards like the city, but it's heading. It's heading from the city to Penrith, but it's like between. What's the last exit before you get to the first Penrith exit? It's in between there somewhere, like between Eastern Creek and Penrith. I'll have to find it.
So you got Rudy Hill and all that. Rudy Hill.
I don't think. I think it's still unsolved actually.
Wow.
Because she was hijacked at the railway station going home from work.
Yes.
And she was
Do you remember when there were people that were breaking in the little corner back windows of the cars and leaving stuff? Because I was an apprentice at where was it? Over near Woodcroft. And I remember hearing stories, but it was around that time, but a little before. It was like they'd pop back up again, you know?
No, the only one that comes to my mind is Janine Balding, and she came after Anita.
Yeah, it's after Anita, way after Anita, which she found in a swamp.
But it wasn't at Penrith. I think she was more further in.
Yeah, somebody's put there. There's a dam. I just put it up. There we go. Oops, lost it now. Shut. Thank you.
Oh, that must have been who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you were just saying.
Yeah, was her? Did they find her killer?
Yeah.
Because when I watched the show, they said they didn't, but that might be an interesting place to go.
Yeah.
When we're allowed.
You catch it.
Well, you can. You're in the radius.
Yeah.
We can't.
Or you know what else would be a good one is would to be go to what's that documentary that's on lately about that prostitute lady that dobbed in the policeman?
Yeah, she was
the blonde one.
She was dumped in Moore Park Lake.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting place to go to.
Yeah,
there'd be more than one person having.
Absolutely. Well, that was obviously a dumping ground.
Yeah.
Jason, you've been to Bartholomew's church and cemetery before, haven't you? At Prospect.
Yeah.
I was almost tempted to drive through the gates there today because they're open, and they're not open very often.
No.
I've wanted to go there.
Pardon?
It's the only thing you can't use your K2 meter there, Geoff, because of the.
Oh, because the power lines. They're going through. Yeah.
And the whole church has lost it. It's like it's just gutted. It's like a hall.
Yeah, the lady I'm thinking of was Huckstep. Isn't that a name? Huckstep?
Yeah,
Sally, that's it. Yep. So is it Sally?
Yeah, Sally Ann.
Sally,
yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So that was back with the Roger Rogerson people and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he finally got his karma.
He lived just up the road from me. I used to see him all the time doing shots.
Wow.
He was a nice guy.
That's what they all said.
No, he's a really nice guy when you go. Yeah, he just comes up and says, how you going? He starts talking to you. He seemed a nice guy to me.
Oh, I suppose you're not a threat, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
He was a policeman, so people would have seen him as approachable and nice.
Yeah.
Do you know, when I worked as a nurse in emergency in Auburn, I met a few of the prisoners from Malawar and Silverwater, and I've met that Kathleen Knight, the one that killed her husband and cooked him up for dinner.
Yeah.
And you know what? She seemed like a nice next door lady. Like she had twinkly blue eyes and white hair because she'd been in there for a while. She was in Malawar, and if she had said come around for a cuppa and scones, I probably would have fallen for it, you know, because she seemed normal. And I was talking to one of the prison wardens, and he said, "Remember the granny killer?" And it turned out to be the pie man.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he seemed like a normal person too. He didn't look horrible or
One
anything.
person I didn't like, and I could see the evil in his eyes, was Ivan Milat.
Yes.
So when I worked at Prince of Wales Hospital, on 2 floors of our hospital, we had Long Bay Jail prisoners. Okay.
Oh.
So I used to look after that area as well. So I used to have to go in there sometimes. He was coming in there constantly, backwards and forwards. And one day I walked past his cell and I turned and I looked because I knew which cell he was in. I looked into his eyes. And even though he's very old, he was sort of very weak. I could just see in his eyes.
Yeah.
The evil. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I've met him once, but only briefly, when I was a young girl and I lived in Mount Druitt, and I swear it was him. And I remember being in their like little shopping centre that they had in Bidwell at the time. It was called Half Case or something back then, and he lived in Blackett. And I remember this tall guy walking in with, because I was in the chemist, and he had like army gear on, and he just looked at me across the shopping centre, and something about him that made me want to run. So I just put down whatever I was looking at and I just took off as quick as I could. So he was just looking at me like intently, like I just had a cold feeling and I took off.
Mm.
Mark's dad's friend used to work on the roads with him, and they all couldn't believe it because they thought he was the nicest guy, and he always used to go and get their lunches. So that's obviously when he was casing out the place.
Yeah.
He used the Hume Highway. Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon that he worked on the roads. There'll be other burial places that they haven't even found yet. I can tell you that now.
But that Balango,
more than just those 7.
that's huge, the Balango State Forest. I mean,
but not even just down there.
Oh, like, yeah. You're probably got a Sutton's Forest and all along there, you know what I mean? Like all those
yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
And I don't think he worked alone either.
No.
Someone
No, me either. No way.
No. I think it's one of his family members, his cousin or one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they need to look closer than his cousin, to be honest. But, no. That's probably one reason why I wouldn't want to go down there, because the place just gives me the heaves.
Yeah.
Well, I went there once, as you know, Jason. Remember, I did that a bit of a video there not long ago. But when it started to get dark, I just wanted to get out of there. You know, I just didn't want to stay there.
Does it have like a bad energy, Geoff? Like even during the day?
It did when I first went in, but when we started walking around, because Phil disappeared, he took off into the forest, and I'm yelling out to him. Then when I went looking for Phil, I was starting to get the bad energy when I was going deep into the state forest.
So where did Phil go?
He just takes off. He goes on adventures. Like just goes looking around. I'm yelling out, Phil, where are you? Come back to the car. Didn't come back, so I had to go looking for him.
Oh, no. I would have died if Jason done that to me. I would have been beep, beep, beep on the horn, like, get your ass back here. I would have
I was about to put the drone up to go looking for him.
Just chuck out the tent and go back to town, leave him there for the night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, his parents are buried at Rookwood, and his brother, one of them. I think they had a spot for him, but yeah.
We'll probably never know.
Anything like that, don't be afraid to ask. So what's your next project there, Chef Geoff, that you're going to be working on the show?
My next video.
Yeah, what's your project on it? Yeah, without giving it too much out.
I don't know. I've got a few that I haven't finished editing. Quite a few. I'll put another one out tonight. I'll probably put another one out tomorrow if I get time. I'm just doing the last minute cuts. They're all together. I've got them all saved in my program and my the program I use for editing. But I'd like to spit one out every now and again. Being sort of isolated when I'm not going to work makes it a little bit hard. I can still get out locally to some of these places to do a bit of filming, but I'm just etching. I'm waiting for an emergency to come up in a country town somewhere. Like I've got to go to Wilcannia soon because of the problems we've got up there at the moment with COVID. But I will fly there, and I might be able to do something along there as well.
Are there new cameras that cost an arm and a leg, like full spectrum? Are they really necessary?
Look, I think not really. We've got a Pentax that we bought, and it's brand new, but it does videoing. But I think if you're going to do any investigations at night, have at least a night vision camera or a night vision camcorder.
Night vision lights.
Yeah.
I agree. Agree with that. One place I'm waiting to get back to is Monte Cristo. So as soon as I have to get the Juno Hospital, I'm going.
Yeah.
Can I come, please?
I'll pick you up on the way. Let's go. We're going.
Cool. I had the best night's sleep at Monte Cristo. It was bizarre. I got tucked in and I was too scared to move. I got told to behave and I went, okay. And I just slept like a log.
You got tucked in?
Yeah, I was treated like I was 5.
Wow.
I got told, now pick up your bath mat. Make sure you wipe your feet. Are you going to read a book? Yep. So I put in my earphones, turned my phone on, and I went, and then I got, that's rude. That's not a book. And I was like, shit, okay. All right, I'll put that down then. And then then I felt the blankets getting tucked in. And my best friend came with me and she doesn't really she believes, but she doesn't believe. So, and I just went out. I was out. It was like I was put to bed. So I went to sleep. She didn't have such a good night, but I had a great night. We slept in the room that had the red claw marks on the back.
Yeah. Did you find a lot of activity in the stables?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found, where the horse carriage was, it was kind of round in the corner in the little, you come in, there was an old one around it was like the more la-di-da one.
Did you're saying coming from left or right?
So when you first walk in the door, past the cottage where that poor fella was chained up, and then you go left.
Yeah.
And then if you go left, and then they had the little room where they kept all the bibs and bobs, and when you went a bit further than that, it was down near where the loft bit was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, in there.
I've got a lot of activity in the room that the boy was buried on his mattress.
Yes.
He's there. Yeah. A lot of activity.
The one on the mattress.
Yeah. I think the story goes that he wouldn't get up one morning or something. And he had a mattress on the ground or he had a bed there in that room. And they
the little boy that tended to the coaches.
Yeah, that's in the coaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you came in from the right end and walked down to the last room on the left, that's where he was burnt alive.
Okay. I seen him upstairs on the loft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the foxes?
No.
Like actual life foxes?
No.
Yeah, I had foxes come up to me.
Wow, that'd be great.
That was more scary than the spirits.
They'd be scared of you, foxes.
Yeah. And the ballroom, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
But when we went there was skeptics and they were leaving Hansel and Gretel trails everywhere for the spirits. And I was cacking myself laughing, thinking, oh man, you guys are gonna pay for this. And they did. They did during the night, but none of their stuff got touched. But when they went to bed, that's where they got picked on.
Do you feel the energy on the balcony and also on Mrs. Crowley's that room?
And the stairs. And, around the balcony in her prayer room.
Yeah, in a prayer room. Did you feel the energy there?
Yeah. Yeah, and
if
I felt...
If she doesn't like you, she'll tell you.
I could feel the... is it the son that took after his dad, the one, but he was the mean one? You know, his room?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I could feel him breathing down my neck. So that was pretty gross.
Did you get scratched or anything there?
No, because she came and visited me 3 days before I went there, and I was told to behave myself. Hence the reason why I probably got tucked in, right?
Yeah, right.
So, which is kind of funny. And I thought, who'd go figure? I can't sleep at night in my own bed because I get terrified. But I go down to Monte Cristo, the most haunted house in Australia, and have the best night's sleep of my life.
Go back and live there.
He's like, I don't know. I think the old lady's more scary.
Oh, that's good conversations with her.
Yeah, when you have dinner, make sure you eat all your dinner. Yes, ma'am.
It's very sweet.
You're a child.
Well, she is only about 4 or 5 foot something, She's only 5'1" or 5'2". That's probably why the ghost tucked her in. She looked like a little kid. Just tucked this little one in.
Yeah, I probably was like one of her daughters.
She loves to talk.
Yeah, she was nice.
Yeah,
she was nice.
Very nice.
So, yeah. But no, I definitely would like to go. I actually found the township more eerie.
Jenny, quite old and like
it just had a really bizarre, weird feeling. Like it was a weird place. I did buy a shaving mug from there though. That was good in the antique shop. But
did you go to the chocolate factory?
Yes.
There's some energy there as well,
Yeah, we went up to the cemetery as well and had a wander.
Yeah. Did you go to their graves from Monte Cristo, the Crowleys?
Up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the cemetery.
Yeah.
But there's also, I could pick up that there was also a grave on site. I could pick it up where it was, but I didn't sort of tell anybody too much, just my friend.
Right.
Because, it's down near the big tree. Like, I know that there's lots of big trees there, right? But, at the front of the house.
The rotunda. You got the rotunda. The rotunda?
No, it's not near there. It was like where there was a seat all by itself down near a tree.
Is that the pet cemetery there as well? Yeah, that section, the front.
No, I didn't know there was a pet cemetery.
Yeah, there's a pet cemetery to the left. Around a tree, big tree.
Ah, that makes sense. Was that down from where the circle thing in the middle?
Yeah, so you got the drive around section in the middle, and then just to the left of that, you got a large tree, and around that garden there are all the dogs, and they're all buried there, and it's got the names of all the dogs and cats and everything there as well.
Yeah, well, I think there's a human buried there as well. A girl.
Just laughing at the comment.
If that happened to him.
He said he was going out there. Actually, I thought it was funny, Josh, with when you let off the death whistle with your mate in that cemetery.
He's there too.
Yeah. And you got them all upset. You got them all telling you off and telling you to get out and stuff. I thought it was kind of funny because I laughed and angry the spirits.
Yeah.
What's this whistle thing?
You got to play it.
It's an Aztec death whistle. One of the guys that we know, Black Collar Project.
Yep.
Oh, that's Dark Water.
Dark Water.
He started it off. He actually owns a proper little Aztec death whistle that you can buy. And I didn't have it, but it was a challenge to let it off for the Tied to Death challenge because what it does, it invokes the dead, so it brings them out more. So that's why I was down the back street and I thought if there's anything here, and I let off this thing, it's going to call them out more. And we did get voices going. We heard the whistle, but I played mine off YouTube. You just Google up Aztec death whistle and you'll get like different tubes of people blowing the whistle, but you can buy them online.
No, thanks.
Come on, Geoff, you got to get into
like
it,
a
mate.
real inhuman shriek, doesn't it?
It does.
It sounds.
Might have like a porthole or something. No thanks.
It sounds like, you know, on all the movies, there's a scream there's a scream that they play in every single movie.
Yep. The raptor whistle, yeah.
It'd be like that.
Yeah. It sound well. If you watch our Tied to Death where Jason's tied up, you'll hear it.
Felicity, do you ever use Ouija boards?
I did once or twice. Sorry, I made my own at school, and we used it in the middle of the day. And we did get somebody. We almost got expelled as well. And we didn't get time to close it off. And we didn't know anything about what we were doing anyway. So, and then I did it once in May up at the Ghost Hunting Paranormal Expo, and nothing happened.
I've just started to use a pendant.
Pendulum.
Yeah, it's a pendant, but I use it as a pendulum.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got my mother's, but it was handed down, so it's over 200 years old. What I've got.
Yeah.
It used to always tell me it's got powers.
Yes.
And it does work.
It does.
It does work. It's amazing. It shocks me.
I've used my wedding ring before as a pendulum.
Yeah, and even the other night, I did a live one with Julie and Jackie, and then I was at the pendulum, and it was like somebody was pushing. I could feel it, and people going, "You can see it getting pushed." And all of a sudden, instead of just like slowing down, stopping, the thing just suddenly comes to a stop. Dead
yes.
stop. And you can see somebody's hanging on to it. It was amazing.
Yeah. A lot of people use those over maps when they're trying to find people that are lost or people who have died in the bush, like been murdered and hidden in the bush and stuff like that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So
I might use it for yes or no answers. Because your wedding ring or like a ring contains your energy. I use that sometimes too.
Yeah, you got to hold like that. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
I'll try that.
You got to charge it with your energy and ask it to tell you what's yes, what's no, and what's maybe.
Yeah, because I say to the left and right for something, then forward and back.
Yeah, and then circle.
You haven't done a circle yet.
Circle is normally your maybe.
Right, okay.
Yeah. You can use your body too, the same. Did you know that? Yes, you can. You can use your body like a human pendulum. Except for you won't do the maybe one, okay? Just letting you know.
Oh, well, because I use the maybe one as a yes and that way as a no.
Yeah, no, you can go that way, like that way, and then that way, and then that way. But yours will program to you how you want to program it. That's just how I was taught to program it.
Yeah. I don't have maybes. I just have yes or no.
Yeah. Just putting the question
Just
up.
waiting for another question.
There we go.
Is it bad on your own?
Depends. I mean, as you got to shut it off, but as long as you don't let the person that whatever comes through take over you. So you got to be very grounded.
Yeah, look, I would say ground yourself and protect yourself first. But look, I know lots of our friends that use them and do table wrapping and that, and they're fine.
Yeah, I've done that.
It, you know, it really doesn't matter whether you're by yourself or with 10 people, really.
Another question.
If you're
come up.
by yourself, at least you know that nobody else is pushing it.
True.
Because when you're with more people, you're like, you pushed it, I seen you.
Have you done a human?
Pendulum at Aradale. I haven't been to Aradale, Ruthie.
With Bill.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Look, we always plan to go places, and damn old COVID the last 2 years has foiled our plans time and time again. So that is one place we want to go to. Geoff, have you ever been to Aradale down at Melbourne?
No, but you came from that area, didn't you? You came from Melbourne originally.
No, I lived in Melbourne as a kid, but I lived in Sydney as a kid too. I moved down there for a few years, and then because I was adopted, so I went to my grandparents, and I got palmed off to my aunties in Melbourne, and then I got put off with my real mum up in Queensland, and then eventually back to my grandma's because it's where I wanted to be. So and they were in Sydney.
Did anyone use the divining rods?
Geoff, you've been using those divining rods.
Yeah. Good morning. That's mine.
What do you think of them?
That's mine there. Just simple ones to make out of coat hangers. Otherwise, you can use branches if you want. But if you want to buy them online, get the copper ones. They're the best. So they can.
Have you found much water?
I can walk around my backyard. I'll find the water. Yeah. I found it on properties years ago. Yeah. Because a lot of my relatives own properties out west, Cobar, and a lot of places. Excuse me. Yeah. And they use them to find water.
Yeah.
Well,
because it helps you to find the what's that? The ley lines. It helps you to find the ley lines.
Can you bring the rods closer, please?
Bring them closer. Okay.
Yeah.
So what have we got?
Asking to say it.
So that's. Can you see those?
Yep.
That's them here. Yeah. And basically, normally you just put your arms, try and keep them straight to your sides like that. And what will happen is, let me see that, you cross over. So you can ask questions, cross over if such and such, or, go out to the sides away, both sides, or you can go both to the left, or however you wish to do it. But they do work. And I sometimes thought it was in my subconscious. I thought it was me moving them.
Yeah.
But then I've looked back at my videos and zoomed in and closed in, and no, it wasn't. But I can feel a lot of the times. The energy pushing them like that. To the sides. They're great. I love them.
They'd be good for finding the ley lines.
Yeah. And you want to find gold? Find gold. You tell it what you want it to find. If you say find water, it will find water. You find gold, it will find gold. Jason, you got any metal coat hangers in your cupboard?
No.
Let's go and buy some.
We do.
No.
Simple way to do it.
No,
So you straighten it out, just cut them the same length and beat them over at 90 degrees. Like that.
Okay.
Easy device. Cheap.
I understand about copper working so good because, the most haunted town in Australia, Kapunda, they reckon it's so haunted because of the metal in the ground. There's a lot of copper in the ground still. And they found a link to haunted places and metal in the ground.
But it's also the water, the energy from the water. And you find all of these places that are haunted. They have more water streams or water basins underneath them.
The ley lines and all those things. Yeah.
And it uses that to amplify the energy.
No, what Darkwater is saying, can you only ask yes and no questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
same as a pendulum.
Yep. You can say, if it's a yes, close both rods across or cross both rods, or if it's a no, open both rods up. And sometimes I only go this far, sometimes it's a full no. Sometimes they hesitate. You'll say cross them over, one or only crossover, like maybe. Yeah. They're fantastic.
There should be a YouTube on it somewhere anyway, shouldn't there?
I'm doing my devices YouTubes at the moment. I did the first one the other day was the K2 meter, and I showed how it worked electrically and everything on that side of it. And I was trying to decide which one I was going to do next. Now I have to do the dowsing rods. But I'll do the next couple of days.
I've never used them, but I like to use them for good paranormal. Yeah.
Keep getting
So
steady shots.
Geoff?
What's that?
When the lockdown's over, where would you like to go and investigate?
Well, I'm going hopefully with you to Rookwood.
Yeah, that's
and then, as I said before, I need to shoot off to Junee, go on back there. And I just pop it in my old favourite, the quarantine station. Want to head back up to Maitland Jar. I love Maitland Jar.
I haven't done Maitland Jar yet, but I'd like to go do the quarantine station again.
You just walk around there all day. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a shame. It's a shame it's so modernised now. It was really good when it wasn't.
Yeah, look, years ago before it was taken over with a private mob, and put all those sort of cottages and hotel things there now. It's a lot better when it's fully run by the National Park.
I'd like to go across. When I first went there, believe it or not, I could not find the entrance. We kept driving past it. It was like it was totally blocked. It was hilarious. It was a full moon.
Yeah.
That Angels and Demons thing came out with Tom Hanks, and my GPS just went nuts. It took me 3 hours to get from Penrith to Manly because everything just went haywire. Wow. And we kept going past it, and it kept taking us to the little cemetery, that's just past the entrance, but up above.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny. And then when we finally seen the entrance and it was massive, I found it funny. The others were terrified, but it was a funny experience.
When you go through the archway, you get that feel. As soon as you go through that, you get this feeling inside. And the cemetery there, is it number 3? The one at the top, right at the top, number 3 cemetery? That's got a lot of energy, that one.
Yeah, and there's one on like that side, as you're driving out to the headland. Yeah,
that's the at the fort, which is called the fort on the left-hand side of the tunnel. I don't know if you've been to those tunnels, they're fantastic.
No, I haven't been over there. I didn't know you could, so that'd be good.
Yeah, fantastic. So you go from the tunnels and you go right out to the cliffs. Yeah, on the head.
That sounds like a plan, guys.
When it's open again, yeah. Because I just did a video not long ago on Big Brother, because Big Brother was filmed there.
Hey, Geoff, you've got a question for you, mate.
What's that?
Up on the screen.
Firm belief that spirits use elements to increase power. Yep, gather at large deposits. Increase power, so gather at large deposits.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like they would from water, electricity.
Yeah, they use that to amplify. Yeah, I think to use it.
Salt.
And they use the phone apps a lot too. It's just energy.
Yeah. As I said about the words, which is, the words are in the dictionary, but saying words that are not in the dictionary as well.
Intention. Your intention.
Yeah.
So has anybody else got any questions for us out there they'd like to ask us? Or if people want to contact Felicity, I'd like to tell them how would they get in contact with you if they want to read in through you. You can promote your site.
He's got salt. Yeah, there's salt in the earth. Yes, you can use salt for banishing and protection, but salt is also energy, the salt in the water.
Salt in the water,
yeah. You can contact me through Oracle of Florence on Facebook. I don't have a YouTube channel at the moment. Well, I do for my salon, but I think I've got 2 videos on that. But if you go to the just Oracle of Florence and send me a PM, then I'll be in touch.
Yep. And Geoff, like to promote your pages again, in case somebody might have missed them.
So my YouTube channels are On the Road Australia and also Soul Man Productions Sydney, and I have the same namesake in Facebook, so you can message me through there as well.
Excellent.
Well, we'll put the links up after the show and also on Jason Ghost Hunter Facebook page.
Yep.
If there's no further questions, we might call it a night.
And you two guys stay there. I'll chat to you after I shut this live down.
Okay, Dad.
Good girl. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me and Julia, Flick, and Geoff. It was great having you guys here. And again, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It'll be great too. So, catch us all, guys, later.
Thank you.
Catch us.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Where's the little thing? Oh, there it is. Bye.